There's a heated debate in the church today about self-esteem, okay? But it says in 2 Timothy that in the last days men would be proud, okay? Now, Jeremiah 13 says, be not proud, all right? But when we look at the NIV, it says, be proud. Be proud. Take pride. Pride, pride, pride. It's all over the place. The King James is saying rejoicing. Okay, rejoice in the Lord always. And again, I say rejoice, right? Okay. Now, Psalm 8:5, the King James says, thou hast made him a little lower than the angels. He's talking about man. All right, we are lower than the angels. Psalm 8:5 in the New Version says, thou hast made him a little lower than God, talking about us. Okay, we wouldn't be a little lower than God. I mean, we're talking, you know, a lot lower than God. I mean, not even on the same map, all right. Now, the other thing that it says in 2 Timothy 3:4 is that men will be heady and high-minded. Now, the advertising claims of all the new versions say that they are easier to understand, all right? But my collation has shown that this is not true. For instance, the King James always uses 1 or 2 syllable Anglo-Saxon words. Simple words like fan, kill, sat, go, mercy. Okay, this is the New American Standard. Fan, winnowing fork. Kill, murder. Go, be gone. Bottles, wineskins. Hem, fringe. Pray, beseech. Called, summoned. They always use a 3 or 4 syllable word. Now, that's not just the New American Standard, that's also the New International Version. When you start counting syllables in words, and syllables are the criteria for how difficult a word is to understand. The King James will say told. The NIV will say conscripted, 3 syllables. The King James will say like. The NIV will say think it worthwhile. The King James joint. The New King James supporting ligament, or excuse me, the NIV supporting ligament. They always use more syllables. And so if you take these versions and you put them in the Flesch Kincaid grade level analysis, you will find that the King James reads at the 5th grade, 8th month. All right? The NIV reads at the 8th grade level. The New American Standard reads at the 6th grade level. The New King James at the 6th grade, 9th month. So the King James is the easiest to understand. And I've read a lot of research since I made this transparency, and the same thing keeps coming out. The King James has the smallest number of syllables per word, letters per word, words per sentence. And the King James also has something called cognitive scaffolding. One of the textbooks I wrote when I was a professor at the university was called Design, Process, and Cognitive Behavior. In that book I talk about how people think and how they learn. But one of the ways children learn is called cognitive scaffolding. That means if I say, the Bible, King James Bible says, be careful for nothing. Okay? Care is a small word that has a definition. You care about something. Full, you have a full glass of milk. So a child will put those 2 words and they will build them together to understand what careful means. Full of care. Okay? Now, if you look at the New International Version there, it will say anxious. There is no cognitive scaffolding with the word anxious because it doesn't break down, because they don't use Anglo-Saxon words. So I tried to find out why none of these versions use the simple Anglo-Saxon words, and I found out that it has to do with the derivative copyright law, okay? The derivative copyright law says, quote, to be copyrightable, a derivative work must be different enough from the original to be regarded as a new work and must contain a substantial amount of new material. Making minor changes or additions of little substance to a pre-existing work will not qualify the work as a new version. You have to make substantial changes in the version. So here we have the New King James. It's going to pretend that it's going to update all the King James words. For the word evil, okay, now the word evil will cognitive scaffold for a child to devil, okay? But they have adversity, distressing, catastrophe, calamity, difficult, harmful, terrible, and doom. I didn't put doom on there. Fat is verdant, okay? Man is mortal. Old is elderly. Give is gratify. House is habitation. Smell becomes savor. Okay, why did they do this? Now, there's a book called The NIV Story by Burton Gooder, and he explains why they did it. Because they can't use the King James words. They're the best words. They've already been taken. So they have to go to thesaurus. Now, if you're doing the New American Standard, you get the first choice. But then by the time you're on to the NIV, you're on the 3rd choice. And by the time you're down to the New King James, you can't take anybody else's words, and you're using these ridiculous words like verdant for fat. Okay? But I think when people say the King James is hard to understand, they're really misrepresenting how someone understands the Bible. Psalm 25 says, the meek will he teach his way. So if someone goes to seminary, I'd suggest that Seminary 101 would be Meekness 101, but I don't think that happens. Psalm 25 said, the secret of the Lord is with them that fear him. So I'd have trembling at the word 102, okay?